Audio speeding.
Everything sound good?
Does everything sound good?
Yes, sir.
You absolutely positive?
What's that mean?
It means you're sure.
I'm positive.
You're the first person.
Ah, yes, come
But I say
in.
that all the time.
Our featured presentation is about to start. You have entered into cult cinema with the dastardly evil Cheese Film and my partner in crime, Hecubus. This is the Grindhouse Podcast. We're coming to get you, Barbara.
Welcome back to the Grindhouse Podcast. I am your host, as always, Cheese Film. And today, joined with me for this one and only time
Yeah, this is the only one.
is Mr. Hecubus. And behind the cameras is our technical director, technically directing,
Hey, it's
Randy
Randy Official.
who officially got artwork. You can go on the Facebook page to check that out. It's pretty awesome.
Wait, what?
What?
I didn't even know that. Ben will put it on screen right now.
You go to the Grindhouse Podcast official Facebook page, and you can check out the characters that each one of us are represented by.
Oh.
They're pretty cool. We like them a lot, and they're all unique to us.
Do I get my own sticker?
Yeah, I'm gonna. So we got the Cheese Film stickers. I'm gonna do Hecubus and Randy stickers too. I think they're really cool.
Word.
But we're going to be talking about a very special movie today. A very special movie for a lot of reasons that I hope I get to educate everybody on, because I had a question about this movie, and that question was, why does this exist?
Exactly.
That movie, of course, is Head. Head
The Monkees movie.
is a Monkees movie. A monkey movie that was...
The band, The Monkees.
Yes, not the animal. As a matter of fact, I don't think there is a single monkey in this movie.
I don't believe there is either. Or in the
which-
show.
Watching this movie and how this movie is, I think that's a missed opportunity. I think it would have benefited it.
Having monkeys?
Having at
It
least a
definitely
channel.
would have. Absolutely would have. Let me tell you where it came from. There's a resort in Ojai, California, where the Monkees, Rafelson, who directed it, and Jack Nicholson brainstormed into a tape recorder, and then Jack Nicholson took the tape recorder and some LSD and wrote the script. That's where it came from.
And, well, you can tell.
You can absolutely tell.
So earlier I commented on how this is a documentary, and you said
Yeah.
this isn't a documentary. But in a way, it technically is. They call this a psychedelic documentary. But it's not about the Monkees. It's not a documentary about the Monkees. It's a
Right.
documentary about Hollywood itself. And how,
Yeah, I can go with that with you.
yeah, and the golden age of cinema. I got through about 50 minutes of this movie before I paused it, questioned why I was watching it. And it's in the Criterion Collection, so I was like,
Yes.
why?
Yeah.
Went to the supplements, watched a little mini documentary, and now I get it.
Okay.
Now I understand. And I got a lot of notes about why this movie is as important as it is. Because this movie's weird. I literally wrote down here for plot, I have no idea.
Right. There's
I
nice
couldn't really follow
little
what's
vignettes
going
of
on.
stuff.
It is. And I mean, the opener is like, they're like, well, you like action, romance, drama, mystery. Like, they have all the vignettes on the TV screen.
Right.
The channel, like the producer of NBC would see.
Right,
All his
yeah.
different channels. And that's how this story goes. It's unique in a way that's like, it's an anti-movie, I would say,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you could say that.
you know?
And that could really work.
Yeah. I don't think this
could.
worked.
I don't think it worked.
And it
either.
wasn't until I really dove into the supplements on this that I ended up liking it. Because when I was like, again, I almost turned it off. Because I was like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Because it's bad. I don't know why, but it's almost like they tried to make a bad movie. Honestly, the only one I really liked to watch was The Drummer.
Was he the only one who was actually like a character, and the other ones were like not characters? Is he the guy who kicks out of the box?
No.
Okay.
No, he's the one with like the afro.
His name is Peter Tork. You could put it. That's what that guy looks like. Tom.
Heard.
He's got
So
the
now
afro,
you know what
right?
I'm talking about. That guy.
Because I didn't look up any of their names.
I knew I used to watch the show.
Are they the original people?
Yeah.
Because I was looking on Wikipedia and it said it started with 3 other guys.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you their names. You ready?
Yeah.
Randy Official.
Yeah.
All right. Micky Dolenz. And he played like bass and drums and stuff. Because him and Peter Tork played bass and drums.
What pictures did you get?
Their heads. It's their heads.
Yeah, I know.
It's their heads.
So you got it?
Yeah, Mickey Dorcas.
Micky Dolenz, Michael Nesmith, who did have, he's probably the most famous person after this. Peter Tork, the drummer mostly, and Davy Jones, who was famous from the show
Yeah.
and was because he's a cute guy. And then also, Jack Nicholson wrote a song for this, but so did Harry Nilsson and I think Carole King.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Carole King and Harry Nilsson wrote songs for the songs suck in this movie.
They're all bad.
They're terrible.
Every single one of
And
them.
here's the thing. I just watched this documentary about it's called Laurel Canyon. And it's here's like Los Angeles, and it's like over here. And like you could get an apartment for $75 a month. And so all these people, like Carole King before she was famous, Stephen Stills, David Crosby, all those hippie Frank Zappa musicians
Yeah.
that are iconic and well loved now, all lived up there. And some of the people that lived there were like Peter Tork lived there, and Michael Nesmith lived up there too. And it was kind of a community thing, and it's really cool. And they collaborated together, all kinds of stuff.
That is really cool.
And they lived there because you could almost walk to a place that would do open mic nights. Mm-hmm. So all these people that are iconic people now were going up there playing for free and doing all this stuff. And they were able to live because it was so dirt cheap there, which it's now prohibitively expensive to live there.
It's kind of like how that comedy house, the Brick something in Los Angeles, where like you could just go there and like Chris Rock is performing.
Yeah, like the Comedy Store, you mean?
Yeah, the comedy store. And that's kind of a cool thing to think about.
It's a really cool thing.
Because like you take it for granted now, but like, or you take it for granted then what you were getting, like, because like going into just a bar and like some schmo's playing,
Right.
Oh, I know how you feel.
and that
I
schmo
bet you
turns
do.
out to be
Yeah, and now he's Bob Dylan.
yeah. How nuts is that?
It is nuts. But that whole area was very creative people in there. And here's a funny thing. In that documentary, obviously not, I don't think it's in the supplements, but Peter Tork used to, he was partied with a lot. Oh, you know who else was there? It might have been Brian Wilson. Yeah, Brian Wilson had a
the
place
Beach
there
Boys?
from the Beach Boys when they were big. And his living room was completely covered in sand. He completely
What a
covered
weird
his
guy. I know, because when I took a music history class, we studied the Beach Boys because they were like the people of the 70s. Or
And the teacher
60s to
hated the
70s.
Beatles and
Yep.
wanted to teach the Beach Boys.
And like just listen, like he would stop performing live with them because he felt like he was bad luck and that they wouldn't
he
get,
was
but he'd
weird.
write all their stuff.
Well, he's the one that almost signed Charles Manson. It's basically his fault. Everything that Manson ended up doing. If he had gotten a record deal like he was promised,
You don't think he would have went crazy?
he wouldn't have had them people going nuts and killing people. He probably would have done something else,
Yeah, probably.
but those people would be alive.
All right. Since Ben said he didn't watch the movie either, guess how far I got?
Oh no, I watched
hang-
the whole movie.
Hold on.
Yeah, and then about 50 minutes in, I'm like, how much longer does this have?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
It's a slog to get through.
I passed out.
Well, you said, how are we going to get out of this box? That's the end of the movie.
Yeah, and then I was like, I have to, like, at least know something about it. And I was like, I don't even, like you said, there's no plot, so I, like,
There isn't. And it's,
I didn't have anything to talk about, so I was like, oh, maybe the ending will, like, wrap it up. and
No.
it didn't. I was like, oh, they're just fighting.
Like, because like, it's not even like it's a story about nothing like Ghostbusters is.
Right.
It's literally like if you were going to take an abstract.
Does the military thing come back at all from the beginning?
Not
No, that's
really.
just a thing.
It's just a
okay,
thing.
'cause I
Like,
was like,
so it opens with the military thing, and like yada 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 is over to another war, but it's like the different one.
And then trippy sequence.
Yeah, and then a whole bunch of
And
trippy
then,
sequences. And so, because I was thinking about this too, like, why is this not working? What about The Wall works, and this just isn't? Because The Wall is also a very abstract movie.
Well, you keep saying abstract, and I think there's a fine line between absurd and stupid.
The Wall has a line in it still. You can do stuff around it.
Right, but if this is trying to be absurd, and they don't get to absurdity, it's just stupid.
It is stupid, and it's considered a pop culture kind of time capsule.
Yeah, it is. And
So I think that's where they're spending the majority of their focus.
Yeah.
Is Hard Day's Night a Criterion Collection?
I'm sure it
or
is.
any of the Beatles movies?
I believe Hard Day's Night is the one.
Because I was like, if that's not,
I have it.
that would be crazy.
I have it too, and I think it is Criterion. But
I think I have the Beatles Criterion movie,
This is exactly
and I
what,
believe it's Hard Day's Night.
when I saw this, I thought Hard Day's Night. Like,
I thought
they were
bad
the
Hard
same.
Day's Night.
Yeah.
it's they're not. The Beatles made those movies, Help and A Hard Day's Night, especially, and they were trying to do that kind of thing. The thing is, the Monkees really never got any respect because they were musicians, and the studio or the television company didn't want to play in their own instruments, didn't want them writing their own stuff. And a lot of great people like Neil Diamond and all these people, Carole King, wrote songs for them that became huge hits, and are even like even being played now. There was something that happened that a couple of their songs are being played,
Well, Shrek happened.
but they kind of missed the boat on what you're talking about, the time capsule. They put the time capsule in the wrong place.
Yeah.
They should have made this movie a year earlier. 2 would be even better. And like they just nobody cared. Nobody cared about the Monkees, except for their pop songs that people liked, but they had no respect. And I don't think this movie got them any respect either.
So Roger Ebert said when this movie came out, it was a bomb because the kids didn't want to see it, and the adults smartly stayed away.
Right.
Is what he said.
Well, it wasn't made for adults at that time.
No.
especially.
Well, and the Monkees, come to find out, were they exclusively targeted the young audience.
Yeah.
They want, and they're all American, by the way. I thought the Monkees was like
Well,
the
Davy
Kicks.
Jones is from England.
Okay, I
But
was about
he's
to
the
say
only
there was
one.
one dude who was like British for sure.
Yeah. The cute one.
Yeah. But I always thought like the Kinks, where they're just like thrown in there with the British invasion. I thought that's what they were, but no, they're a straight up American band.
Yeah, they're a
And
manufacturer.
they're manufactured. There was a TV show, and the
Yeah.
TV show got popular.
It was on for 3 years.
And
3 seasons.
Music took off.
Oh, totally.
So
good
they
ones.
took off. And with the music's popularity, one of them was like, well, no, we're going to write the music from now on.
It was probably Michael Nesmith. I
think
you're
it
thinking
was.
of the guy with the hat. Always he was got the hat.
So that's kind of a cool thing, too, that this whole thing is kind of, and it really plays into what this was, because right at this time, the golden age of Hollywood is on a decline. It's
over. It's
dead.
now it's talking about with Coppola and Scorsese. They're be coming out after this.
and this is part of a phenomenon called the BBS era, which is 3 guys' names, and I didn't write them down. But they did this and Easy Rider and The Last Picture Show.
The Last Picture Show or The Last Movie?
The Last Picture Show.
Okay.
They all had their hands in this. and it was breakout counterculture
What
stuff.
is that last picture show's guy's name?
It's upstairs. Everything. It's all upstairs. I should have
I've
just
never
grabbed
seen
that down here.
Yeah.
Because it kicked off the counterculture. Like everything else before this,
I wouldn't
was
say
all,
kicked off. This movie?
This was part of that movement. And I think, I don't know if this one
is like the tail end where they're getting. There's Coca-Cola in it. You know what I mean? It's not. It's the Coca-Cola.
But like Mean Streets. If this movie wasn't doing what it was doing, Mean Streets wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And they talk about that, just how they might not be good movies. I mean, like Easy Rider was a huge hit. And a couple of them other were too, but like they really gave people the encouragement to make art.
Yeah, right. To go out on their own.
I wrote this down because I thought this was awesome, that before this era, the golden age of Hollywood, like if you're a writer, you are the screenwriter.
Yeah.
I'm a director.
Right.
We might never meet.
Yeah, exactly.
I made your movie.
Yep.
I couldn't point you out in a crowd.
Right.
This era, they're
like Jack Nicholson
intertwined.
and Bob Rafelson wrote it and produced it.
Yeah.
And then he directed it. And then there's a picture of Jack Nicholson and Bob Rafelson. Mm-hmm. He's
glad I caught
uncredited
that.
in this. But did you see right before? I think it's right before Jack Nicholson come out. You got that, Randy Official?
There's a picture of Jack Nicholson. I'm glad.
All
you
right,
got
there's
it
another
too.
one because you keep mentioning Easy Rider, and I think maybe while he was filming it, he came over here. But Dennis Hopper's in this too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I labeled that picture Dennis Hopper. I think Randy. He's the guy with the hat, and it's just odd that he's in it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, weird.
It is weird. And he looks like the guy from Easy Rider.
But that's why this is so important and a thing to study and to watch, is not because of the movie itself.
No, you might want to
because of the background it brings.
You remember I said, Curie, just turn it off and put Dark Side of the Moon on?
Yeah.
Turn the sound off on this one. Play your own records.
Yeah. And I was talking to Randy before.
Play Monkees records. I like a lot of Monkees. I like the Monkees. I used
like
to watch
two of
the
their
show
songs.
all the time. Like it was on after school, and I would watch it every day. Because it was a syndication. But, yeah, these songs are just terrible. It's hard to get through because of the songs. They just drag. It's so slow.
And they're awkward. They're awkwardly put in there.
Yeah.
But this is my kind of takeaway from it. I said the structure of the story is
Linear?
non-conformable.
Yeah.
Non-conformant. And is very hard to follow. But it's kind of like how the creative field works.
Yeah, it's kind of stream of consciousness.
Well, yeah, so
Without-
even like shooting wise. So like if I'm shooting a movie and we're watching the dailies, it's not going to be in order. You know,
Right.
it's just going to be what we shot that day.
Yep.
And
Yeah, I know
if
what
you
you
don't know the full picture, it just looks like a chaotic mess.
Yeah.
What I'm showing you today and what I show you tomorrow are not going to connect. So to me, that's kind of what this is trying to emulate or get you to understand and see too,
Yeah.
is because unless you can see the big picture, it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the producers on this movie they were asked like, well, what's the point of it? And he said, well, you figure it out. Like there is no right answer here. It's just kind of what you get from it.
Right.
Which I think is a really cool thing to do. I just really hate that it's attached to this movie.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
It doesn't work.
It
just didn't work.
It's hollow. You know, it didn't hit the way I wanted it to, even after trying to artistically connect with it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it's all over the place, and they got weird vignettes, and the stunts in it even are overly faked. Like that whole boxing match makes Rocky look like actual MMA.
Yeah, really.
It's terrible.
And that's a real boxer. That was Sonny Liston.
Yeah. Well, you can tell he was pulling his punch. It literally looked like he took his fist and then put it onto his cheek, like the whole time. I don't know, man. It just felt
They probably didn't want to get beat up accidentally.
Or yeah, I mean yeah, and yeah, I mean, it's just kind of what it is. But another thing I wrote down is that the Monkees themselves kind of revolutionized a lot of this stuff too. They are the real reason why music videos are a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they kind of pioneered that. I don't know how much of this I believe. I got this one off Wikipedia, but they are known as some of the godfathers of the boy band.
It makes sense. They were manufactured, and each one was picked for a specific
thing.
Yeah, like the cute one and the smart one and the goofy one.
That makes sense. Because I was like,
funny
well,
one.
The Beatles were a boy band too.
Well, not really, because they were.
But they were
given
artists.
that stuff. These people were cast as that.
Yeah,
and that's how boy bands are now, or that's how boy bands are. We need a bad boy one. We need this one. We need one of these.
They point out like NSYNC and Boys to Men as being people who followed this formula.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Justin Bieber, all of that manufactured pop artists.
Right.
I guess they were one of the progenitors of it. I don't know.
I never heard of it before.
First one.
I think they might have been.
Yeah. If they weren't A, they were definitely B.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
But yeah, so ironically, because they were America's answer to the Beatles, and the Beatles had movies, so there's like, all right, well, we'll give our guys a movie, but like it's like somebody just was like, there's
it's
nothing.
Like the Beatles are more talented.
It's almost like
and it really comes through.
Jack Nicholson wrote this, and this is not Jack Nicholson now, where he's just throwing stuff at the wall, and this is what I would expect Jack Nicholson to write. This is Jack Nicholson who hasn't even really become a movie star yet.
Not really, no.
But it was this era that got him that popularity.
Yeah, after this, I think maybe right after this, he did Cuckoo's Nest.
Okay, yeah.
It might have. Or I think I mentioned or read... they had mentioned a bunch of Jack Nicholson movies that came out before that or around that time, the Cuckoo's Nest time.
It was around this era, that BBS era, that he got and he took right off.
Yeah, he did. He's a pretty talented guy.
And like, cause I saw him as a young guy too on Corman's Raven movie.
Yep.
And he was just a nobody.
In Little Shop of Horrors.
He's in Little Shop of Horrors. He's in The Terror. So like, he worked very closely with Roger Corman, who these people did not get along with at all. What movie? No, there's a different thing. There's another movie I saw where the director of it had an argument with Roger Corman, and they walked off from each other and they never saw each other again. And I was like, oh damn.
Yeah. But like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest was written by what's it? Ken Kesey wrote the book, and he was like post beatnik hippie kind of guy, and it all kind of gels together, and just this is the crap part of it. Admit,
because like I do want to say like check it out, but don't check it out because of the movie. Check it out with like the documentary I watched.
Yeah, right.
Check it out with the commentary. Check it out with
what it's.
What,
like the movie is examples of what this stuff is supposed to be.
Right. Like it's one of those things, man. And like right after, again, like, it's so odd. Right after watching all these like behind the scenes stuff and learning why the Monkees were the Monkees and how they were even relevant up to 2021, I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I was watching the movie and I was like, okay, yeah, I get it now. And it's like, that warped my perception, because my initial reaction was like, this is horrible. Oh my God, turn this off. Like, that's what this episode's going to be about, the movie I stopped watching.
Right.
But man, it's a good study film. It's so good at being a study film. But here we go. I got some more stuff here. Where should I pick up here? Because that's kind of about feeling the chaos and not really knowing what it is. I got some backgrounds on the Monkee, about how it started as a TV band.
I take all this stuff for granted.
Yeah.
and you have no idea what you're talking about. That's what's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know they were a TV band.
Right.
I didn't really know who the Monkees were. I went to Apple Music to see what songs they had, and I was like, okay, I know this song. I like this song. I like this one too.
One of them's in Shrek.
Yeah, then I saw her face.
Yeah,
that
I'm
song.
a believer.
I thought they were the Kinks, the House of the Rising Sun, and I was like, until you said the Kinks, I was like, oh, that isn't this band at all.
Right. Wow. It's so it's so insulting that their reputation is just like the oh yeah, you exist band.
Yeah. But on the other hand, they wanted, like I said before, I watched a biopic about them. Your mother liked it. And I was watching it, and they really wanted to be a band that was on TV, not a TV band that was put together. And maybe the record or the television people knew what they were doing, because I think their ambition was bigger than their talent.
Yeah, I think they
because none of them, like Michael Nesmith, started making movies and acting in movies and stuff without the hat on. But like none of them, where there's not a super group where one of them is in it.
Yeah.
All those Laurel Canyon people aren't like, hey, Pete, can you play bass for this song for me? You know what I mean? Nobody was like, hey, I want to get Micky Dolenz on drums here. Nobody did that, and they were friends with those people. Like, went to their house. Did I say Peter Tork? No. Like, went to their house. They had, some people had pools, and Peter Tork would get totally naked at the drop of a hat and walk around people's house naked.
Oh, my
and swim
God.
in their pool naked. But you know, they put up with it. You know, they liked him.
yeah.
But nobody said, you know what this song needs is some Michael Nesmith. Not one of them. And they all collaborated. I can't remember what song it was, but it might have been a Crosby, Stills, Nash kind of thing going on. And he was playing. He's like, I don't know if you're going to like this. He played it for somebody, and somebody said, I don't know, I don't like that song, but don't change a thing. And it's like one of their biggest hits or something. These people were,
They knew what they were doing.
it was a tight-knit family kind of thing.
Yeah.
And none of these guys are in it. None of them. And they lived right next door to them.
That's so funny.
It's terrible.
And that never rubbed off on
Yeah,
them either.
because I like the Monkees. I do.
This movie and this era have also been given the credit of growing up Hollywood, like growing up America's film industry, because you really focused on kind of dirtier movies. Like,
Yeah.
they weren't and I'm not saying the Golden Age had just clean movies, but like they went out now. They went out into the hills of LA
Right.
and filmed things.
Yeah.
They showed, like in Mean Streets, where you see in New York, almost like it's for the first time, where you got
Yeah.
just a whole identity to it. It really is just a new identity
It is a new identity.
to a whole era of American art.
One of the tropes of these 70s movies is none of them have a happy ending.
Yeah.
And if you think about like, The Godfather might have. It's not really happy.
It ain't a happy
He didn't
ending.
want to be that. Slams the door, but closes
that
the door
door
on his
closes.
wife and all that. And like, there's a movie called Fingers that has Harvey Keitel in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the end of it, he's just naked and he's standing there staring at the camera. And that's the end of the movie.
But like, see, these things are so known for being like 70s cinema.
Yeah, right.
You know? And it stems from this. This was one of the progenitors of that.
Yeah,
And like,
it is. It's like the
thinking
base
about-
of it.
Yeah, like you wouldn't have something like Apocalypse Now without the
Not a happy
courage
ending. Yeah.
to do something like that. And like, ironically, and it's cool that they were TV people, because Hollywood started dying pretty hard and fast, and TV
Yeah.
was on the rise.
Yeah.
You know, the John Wayne wasn't the house name anymore.
Right.
You had people, I
Dick
don't know,
Van Dyke.
Dick Van Dyke, And
What's her name?
Ironically, that literally just a couple years beforehand, Clint Eastwood, who could only ever get small TV roles, he never was cast in an American movie, had to go to Italy to be
make a Western.
name. Yeah. And then he became a giant movie star, right at the time where TV started becoming what everybody was watching now. Everybody had the TV in their home, and it was now a lot of it was coming in color. Some of it. It was a huge new wave of the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
You remember that, right, Hecubus?
No, but listen, I did always wonder, why do they keep saying this show's in color? Of course it's in color. I only ever had a color TV. I'm like, well, this is stupid.
Well, because if you think about it, the Ed Sullivan Show, when the Beatles came out, it was in black and white.
Well, lots of stuff was in black and white, and they had to tell you it was in color.
Yeah.
To go get you to get it in color TV.
Color TV. It's all Technicolor now.
Yeah.
It's all the cameras are filming in color. Oh, what show was it? It might have been the Ed Sullivan Show. It was the first time on television where they're like, all right, we got a countdown going, and when that hits 0, it's going to go from black and white to color. And it's so
I never
cool.
heard of that.
About around the world they did it. There's a bunch of different videos you can see of that. They're very cool.
Yeah, and literally like taking off a lens. It goes from black and white to in color, and they're like, all right, let's continue the show.
That's really
it's so cool. And because we take it for granted now, 100%. We got 4K 3D movies.
Yeah, right.
In an era where anything's possible, and then you just think about it, going back to these roots. It's insane. It's impressive. Christopher Nolan is about to make a movie that has been deemed unmakeable.
Yeah.
The Odyssey is not a story you can adapt to film, which I find to be weird, because if you can do the 10 Commandments and Ben-Hur, you should be able to do the Odyssey.
Yeah, those are kind of I think it's more like Dune. How Dune is unfilmable, even though they did do it twice. And he's gonna do it. It'll work.
It is, and I was talking to the guys at work about this. I'm not the biggest fan of Ben-Hur. I like the 10 Commandments.
I've never seen Ben-Hur.
You haven't?
No, but I'm going to.
We should talk about it
The
here.
old one.
Yeah.
Because they remade it too.
And everybody doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But I want. They were big deals. I believe one of them still is the most important, the most expensive movie ever made. I think Ben-Hur still might be.
Maybe
adjusted for inflation.
Yeah.
But I hope it's like that. He really gets back into the golden age of Hollywood and makes that epic.
Oppenheimer, and he didn't use any CGI in it.
That's what I'm talking
all
about.
Practical, so it will be good.
Yeah. And
I like Tenet.
That big. I haven't seen it yet.
You still haven't seen
I
Tenet?
Still haven't seen. I don't.
My God.
I don't know. I want to do. I really do. It's so high on my list.
Yeah, it's a movie.
Okay.
I liked it a lot, but it's confusing and cool as shit.
I got so high hopes for it, because they're like.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say it's a movie.
You'd like this one. That's what they say.
Yeah, and I think it's Inception Junior. Mm-hmm. It's not as good as Inception, but I mean the acting is spot on, but the story is just too convoluted. It's good. I like it. It's very cool. And then when you see it again, and you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He's in there and out here at the same time.
That's cool.
It's very cool.
This movie also helped usher in, and a reason why, because Hollywood was so desperate, they had a kind of a rule that if it was under $1 million, just go make your movie.
Yeah,
stopped.
I think I read that too.
Their hands weren't on everything anymore.
Right.
They started letting the new wave in, and if they could do it under $1 million, they didn't have a problem with it, because you could turn a profit on that.
Yeah, exactly.
And which is awesome, because that boom, that's where it comes.
There's Mean Streets.
Exactly. And it's funny because
Taxi Driver.
The 80s
not a
are
happy ending.
Oh my god. Well, is it a happy ending?
No,
because you get the narration of how the parents are glad he saved the kid, and he's alive. But I think that's all in his head. I think he died. I think that's.
Oh, really? That's a good thing to say.
After, because you've seen Taxi Driver.
Yeah, a couple times.
So after he, saves young Jodie Foster, and the cops show up. And
Yeah.
that infamous scene.
That whole overhead.
Yeah.
God,
And
man,
it's through the
it's
hallway.
So good.
I think he dies there. And then the end of the movie where he's driving about how he likes the city, but it's disgusting, and he's the person they need. And he goes back to the diner with his buddies, and he's reading the letter that the parents wrote him. All of that, I think, is his dying thoughts, and that he dies there.
Yeah, that's a good
That's
thing to say, because it is totally different.
Yeah.
You know, it goes back to, because at the beginning, and Peter Boyle's one of his buddies too.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a happy time when he's hanging out with his friends and stuff like that, and then he goes back to that. Yeah, that's a good
fun
point.
and kind of funny because it's not when they're having a good time, and then he comes in the diner and they're like, oh, he's Travis here. And they don't not like him.
Right.
He's just a weird guy, and they don't know how to interact with him.
Yeah, he's just.
But then at
weird.
the very end, they're happy to see him. That, I think, it's open to interpretation.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is another one of those. Like, it's funny how many heavy hitting changes happened because of a movie like this, and you don't really give it the time of day. You wouldn't.
No.
I wouldn't have known that. This whole episode would have been just crapping on this movie if I hadn't actually gone in and did some research on it. Another thing I want to point out here too, Randy, if you can take camera 2, I've got the cover here, and I think this is, I can't not see this. You got the headless body with the thing there. It reminds me a lot of the apple painting, that person with the apple in front of his face, he's got the hat.
Yeah.
And Naked Lunch has the same exact concept.
Yeah.
And I think that's very misleading.
It's also a take on an Andy Warhol thing that's all I'm going to say about it. Because this movie was the first movie to have a rating.
Was it
The
really?
MPAA, this was the first one.
This was the one?
And it was rated G, yeah.
All right, okay. There's a naked girl in this.
Is there? I don't think
Yeah,
there's a
in
naked
one of the...
I was looking. There's none.
Oh, there is. And she's the birthday party scene. There's a naked
I
girl
don't
there.
remember.
Guys, you'll have to look it up.
Alexa, show me this guy.
Tag it in the comments. Put
Do
the
not.
timestamps. Put the timestamps.
But yeah, I you know, we're coming to the end of my notes here about it, but there was so much. I will lend this to you. I think you should check it out.
I would watch those special features, but it seems like everything around the movie is better than the actual
movie itself. It's so crazy how it's like going to Chicago and seeing the art museum and seeing all this stuff, but the only reason why you're in Chicago is to go look at a dumpster.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, right. That's
Like,
a good
yeah,
one.
all this stuff around that dumpster is beautiful and awesome, but all right, it's a dumpster. Like, I couldn't help myself but think about and I kind of want to do like a Battle of the Bands little thing on the show where we watch a whole bunch of different movies for bands. Mm-hmm. Like we watch Hard Day's Night, or we give the Beatles one. You know, either
Their best one, whatever the ranked is the best.
or we do another Dracula thing where one watches Help, one watches Hard Day's Night, somebody else watches Magical Mystery Tour, or we do
Magical Mystery Tour.
I call
sucks
Yellow
too.
Submarine.
Yellow Submarine. That's another one that's like,
See, that has
abstract.
absurdity,
yeah,
but not stupidity.
No.
It's absurd.
it's whimsical.
It has whimsy too.
This one wants to be that.
Yeah, it
just
does.
doesn't know how to do. It's
At the bottom line, it has a plot.
Ironically.
Like, that as goofy it is, like the where they go and
yeah. You can track the. I love
When the blue
that it
meanies
ends
attack.
with them, the real them. And it's like, oh, I got a hole in my pocket.
Yeah.
That's so silly.
Oh, yeah.
Because like, I think it'd be really cool to do like the Kiss movie.
The Kiss
that
movie's
would be
way better
cool.
than this.
Oh my god! And the Kiss movie's bad.
The Metallica
Stupid.
movie.
The Metallica movie, the Beatles
The Metallica
movie,
movie sucks.
the Studio 666.
No, that's
Rob
Foo Fighters.
Zombie movie.
Oh, then I haven't seen the Metallica
The
movie.
Metallica movie, it's basically they
like
do
a
the
zombie
soundtrack,
movie.
and there's a guy trying to go to a show, and the guy is the guy who was the new Green Goblin in The Amazing Spider-Man, He's also in Cure for Wellness. That guy.
I love A Cure for Wellness.
Me too.
Oh my
that guy
God.
is basically trying to go see Metallica, and it's not cool. It's not
Is it
like Detroit
zombies or
Rock City,
something?
huh?
Is it zombies?
I don't. Maybe there's something
don't
stupid
remember.
like that, but it's
It just didn't work.
no.
Van Halen didn't have a movie, did they? That was a missed opportunity.
It really was because David Lee Roth left Van Halen to make movies, and he never made any.
It's kind of, again, I talked to Randy about this. I think Van Halen saw this movie, and they got inspired by it to do a lot of their music videos because you got the weird cowboys. Like, you take the Pretty Woman video, like that all feels like this.
Yeah.
And then David Lee Roth's Something from the Heart.
Crazy from the Heat.
Crazy from the Heat. No, the face-painted one.
Eat 'em and smile.
Eat 'em and Smile feels like it was inspired by this movie too. There's a lot of kind of probably shouldn't do that anymore things in this movie, like the tribal drums coming out every time the Indian walks past. It's got an arrow in him every single time he does. It's weird, but it was of the times. It's an of the times movie.
It is definitely of the times.
Yeah.
And everything from the past wasn't either horrible or great.
No.
Some stuff was good, some stuff was bad.
And it's not like you don't watch this movie. Like I just said, well, you probably shouldn't do that today. But you don't watch this movie going, oh my God, you go what you are experiencing what it would be like to be somebody in 1968 watching this movie. Like, okay, so this is the culture. This is how people thought. This is what it is. Everything doesn't have to be modern, especially if you're looking at the past.
Yeah, when it wasn't modern now.
But yeah, so I think we should do The Wall at some point because that's that actually came up. I was taking Courtney out for her birthday, and I played Run Like Hell because it's one of my favorite Pink Floyd songs. And she had never heard that song before ever. And I was like, oh, you'll recognize this scream because they used the Breaking the Wall scream in that song too. And she was like, no. Then I was like, well, you have. And I played that song for her too. And I just got into it. I said, oh, we should watch The Wall. She's like, I never saw it. We should watch it. I said, are you in a good mood? She's like, yeah. I said, then we're not watching it tonight.
me and my friend Connor watched it. Bummer.
It is
The whole
sour
day, we were like, no, we'll watch The Wall. It'll be awesome. Nah,
it
wasn't that fun.
Yeah, like I
think we kept being like, what was that?
rough. And I love it in a way that's like I don't even know how to explain. I
understand why you say that's a downer, but I enjoy that movie.
Yeah, I do too. It's
I have a good time watching it.
Because you're watching the story about a boy who loses his dad, has an abusive mother, abusive wife, starts going crazy, becomes a fascist, and ends up internalizing everything.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, that's not a feel-good movie
Yeah,
at
it's not
all.
a feel-good movie, even though the end is, the wall comes down.
Right.
But on the album / whatever you listen to it on, at the very beginning, it says where I came in, and at the very end, it says, isn't this where?
Yeah. Oh.
So it's a loop, which is kind of depressing, but it's awesome.
Yeah. And I think the reason why I like it so much is because of the imagery in that movie.
Yeah.
I think
Gerald
it's
Scarfe stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh my God.
And haunting.
It can really connect with you too.
Yeah.
And it stays with you. And this The Wall. I mean, everybody knows songs off that.
No,
it's not
at
like
least
the
one.
Monkees. But yeah, I'm gonna say I recommend the bonus features.
Yes.
For everybody.
Yeah, finding out about the stuff I highly recommend.
They should make a documentary about this movie, an actual dedicated, not just bonus features on a movie, because it's interesting. It's got such an interesting story behind it. And it is a bummer that the movie itself is just a drag.
It's a slog.
Oh, Lord.
Pretty soon, too, Zeppelin's got a movie coming out. A documentary about Zeppelin.
Yeah, you might have spoke too soon. If it's just movies that musicians are in, you're easy. But if it's movies about musicians...
I think they should make a movie about... use... Zeppelin 4, and then make a movie about like that.
I just think they should do that with Rush songs, Rush albums. Yeah. What the hell was I just going to say? Oh, we just watched a movie about CBGB with
CBGB?
Alan Rickman.
CBGB.
And that was pretty good. And they have all those punk musicians, people playing them.
Yeah.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I was so excited when I saw the trailer for Spinning Gold, and it was like Kiss. I was like,
I've
they're
never
making a
seen
Kiss
that.
movie?
Yeah, I want to see
No,
that.
it's about Casablanca Records.
I still want to see it.
I do too. I still want to check it out. But man, I was like, right after Rocket Man, where they make like a wild movie just about the person that's not even really real. I would love that with Kiss. You can have so much fun with
You
that.
really could.
Have you seen Weird? The Weird Al movie?
Yeah, I like that.
Oh,
that is a Weird is a parody of biopics.
Yeah, how smart is that?
I know. I love it. So
Oh
clever.
my god.
Except he really did used to date Madonna.
Did he really?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh man, I was like, wow.
Madonna wouldn't cross the street to spit in his face, man. Not at that time.
That's hilarious. I love how they even addressed the Coolio thing.
Yeah,
That was funny too.
it was really good. And Rathman there did a good job.
I was like, I'm not gonna really get past him because I can't. He doesn't really look like him.
No.
He looks like a caricature of him.
Yeah.
But you
looks
know
like a
what? The
parody
whole
of him.
movie is a caricature, so
Yeah.
you really just.
And all that stuff where he goes down to Central America. Come on, man.
And I really liked
It was good. And it was funny, too.
because you had a whole bunch. It's got a lot of cool cameos in it
Yeah,
too.
tons of them.
But you got the producer, the album producer guy, played by Weird Al, telling him, nobody's ever going to listen to this.
That means that's on the list.
I like.
I would love to.
Because
what's
Weird
his
Al's
name?
in
The
it.
guy that played
That's another
the guy from
UHF.
Office. UHF.
Yeah. What's his name? Rainn Wilson.
Rainn Wilson, yeah, is Dr. Demento.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that him? Well, I know he's dead. But he looks just like him.
Or Jack Black as Wolfman Jack.
Yeah, that was good too.
And you know what's cool is watching the Midnight Special, the box set you and Ma had, knowing who some of these people are.
Yeah.
That really
helps.
Yeah, it was fun. I felt like I was on the inside.
Yeah, watch Weird.
Yeah,
Don't
check it
watch
out.
Head. Watch Weird.
Watch Weird.
Watch the special features and then watch Weird.
UHF does this better.
Yeah, they does.
It does that better.
Yeah, I think UHF was written and made mostly by people that weren't high, and everybody was gone. Like I said, Jack Nicholson took the tape, an audio tape of their ideas and LSD, and then wrote a script.
And
Sometimes that stuff don't work, man.
listen, because a lot of crazy stuff has happened from acid.
Yeah.
A lot of the Beatles stuff. I caught on this too. They have a couple Beatles references in this movie too,
Mm-hmm.
like the bathroom scene. He's whistling "Strawberry Fields,"
Yeah.
which is not a song like you would have had to kind of know that one.
Yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't call that a pop hit of the Beatles. I know that song. You know that song, but is anybody else going to? Because
Maybe not in 1968 because it's pretty new then.
but even then, that's not on their greatest hits.
It's not?
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. Because I listen to their albums.
Yeah.
But I kind of did dig the whole. He opens up the glass door and then the eyeball's there, and he closes it.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And then that pays off at the end when you got the big guy,
Yep.
rampaging. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend watching this one. I'd recommend reading about it.
Yeah.
Or watching this episode.
Yes, exactly.
It's a good episode. What about you, Randy? Would you try putting it on for a second watching?
No.
Alrighty. Well, that's all I've got to say about this one. You got anything else? Any closers?
Let me tell you some of the cameos that are in it.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh, come on.
I could just tell you if you want me to do the pictures.
Or whatever.
Well, put the pictures on when he talks.
Like Terry Garr.
I was doing Frank Zappa first.
Frank Zappa, yeah. He's in it. And he's in it
that.
for a minute, has a line, and that's it. And they're really cameos. He was, he's at the Laurel Canyon stage here in 1968. He's Frank Zappa in The Mothers of Invention. They're going to make a movie with Ringo Starr as Frank Zappa. It's called 200 Motels. And then like Annette Funicello was famous by now from all those beach movies and stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's a big deal. Terry Garr was just on. Was she even on that? I think she might have been on Laugh-In, but she was not a big star at the time. But that she was in this movie. Another person is Tony Basil, who sang that song Micky from the 80s. I don't know if you guys know it, but she wrote a ton of songs for people. And she's a choreographer. She's the person dancing with, I don't remember which one of them.
That was a cool scene.
She's a dance choreographer.
Yeah, I like the way that's edited. This movie gets pretty crazy with its editing, too. I wanted to drop that in there. It gets pretty crazy with its editing.
Yeah, it does. And sometimes it makes you sick.
A little bit. It got really seizure-inducing. But yeah, a lot of cameos, a lot of coolness, in a movie that really isn't cool.
No, it's not. I don't recommend it. Like I said before, and you said these has good special features on it, and that's really, you probably get more of a time capsule stuff.
Yeah, you do.
From the special features than you were from the actual movie.
Mm-hmm. Because like right around this time was like the civil rights movement and stuff like that. Yeah. So like a lot of cultural change was happening.
Yeah.
So really check out the bonus features. They're worth it.
Really.
But that's all we've got to say here, folks. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on iHeartRadio, Apple, everywhere.
TheGrindhousePodcast.com.
And at TheGrindhousePodcast.com. We're everywhere you go. We're watching you while you sleep. Share it. Share this video. Share this episode. Like it. Comment on it. Have you seen Head?
Yeah.
Do you want to see Head?
I'd like to know if anybody else has seen it.
Yeah, because I hadn't even heard of this movie. This was a brand new crack it open kind of watch. Check it all out. Show and share with everybody you know. We're always here. We're always watching. We'll comment back on your comments, too. We had some pretty good, engaging conversations on Facebook recently about the Akira episode, which you should also check out, because that was a good one.
Yeah, it was.
But that's all I've got today. I have been Cheese Film.
And Hecubus.
And Randy Official.
And this has been
The Grindhouse Podcast.
Cheese Film out.